What is up, everybody? Welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am. Oh, wait. No. There it is. Just kidding. Welcome in again into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter, as you all know here, Pitchfork Lunchers, and you can check it out the show out live every day here on my wonderful live on X. Also, my IG, michael.caratino.5. And I know I say it every day, Pitchfork Lunchers, but I got to remind you, got to be vigilant in that. The YouTube channel. If you missed anything, obviously you missed sound from spring ball. You missed Coach Ward's interview. Came on live with me on Monday, which was awesome. You missed Coach Ward's interview, Coach Megan Bartlett from last week, players, coaches, anything you've missed, you can now go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. And you can watch it live on YouTube. So if you're watching it live, cool, subscribe anyway. But if you're unable to watch the show live, then go to the YouTube channel. And it's go to YouTube. And you can search it. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe. Because again, you miss a ton of sound from practice, a ton of footage like I just showed you. Kind of hit the wrong button coming in, but hey, whatever, it happens. It's technology. So that being said, another day out at spring practice, and we got some sound coming from Coach Dillingham, Coach Ward, and definitely Clayton Smith today. We'll get to all that in a little bit. I also want to remind everybody that obviously softball had the doubleheader yesterday and at USD, and it was a interesting doubleheader. To say the least. The first game went back and forth. It was a little back and forth in the first game, and then USD was unfortunately, able to pull away. And the Toreros were able to pull away and get the victory in the first game. I mean, it was literally back and forth, but there is some good news to it. The second game, Sun Devil fans, the second game, went extras, right? It was exciting. Again, checking it out, watching it, it was exciting. But the Devils won 3-2 in 9 innings. So they get the split, the midweek split, and they are off again until next weekend, as they will be back in California, but the northern part of California. They'll be at Stanford. Taking on the Cardinal. But yeah, it was a 7-4 first game, and I'll get into a little bit more of what happened as we go on in the show. And then 3-2, although had to do it in extra, so you figure, hey, not going to play for a week. We already played 7 innings. Let's get 9 in. So yeah, they won 3-2 in 9 innings to take the second game of the doubleheader against the Toreros. So that again forks up, love it. They were able to get that victory there. Again, baseball has Cal coming up tonight, kids. Don't forget, it is tonight, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Usually over Easter weekend. They've done that for a long time. I didn't look up how long, but they've done that for quite a while. And even if softball was playing too, same thing. If they were on the road, they'd play today, tomorrow, and Saturday. If it was a conference matchup, and same thing with baseball. So they got Cal tonight at 6:30, Phoenix Muni. All this at Phoenix Muni. So you go Thursday, tonight at 6:30, tomorrow, Friday, I want to say is at the same time. I think it's at 6:30, and then Saturday is at 1 o'clock. Saturday's at 1 o'clock. And at Phoenix Muni. So again, you can enjoy a wonderful Easter weekend and get some Sun Devil baseball. Again, they got that huge comeback victory against they were actually, well, yeah, they were down. Yeah, so it was a huge comeback victory against UNLV in Vegas on Monday after dropping the 3 games up in Pullman. So you get back in the win column. Yes, it's non-conference. It's a midweek game. But now, hey, the Bats have woken up. So hopefully against Cal, who's been playing well, Pitchfork Lunchers have talked about it. They've been playing pretty well against Cal. The Devils will be able to get keep that offensive momentum going and keep the intensity. And I carefully say, I tread lightly, the dominance of the overall pitching, right, for Willie Bloomquist and the overall pitching, and also the overall pitching for ASU, especially the bullpen. So if those two have to marry together, and Coach Bloomquist has talked about it. You all know this. I have told you, we've talked about it. You've heard Coach Bloomquist in post-game pressers on the show, but even in the preseason when we had him on, when I had him on Pitchfork Lunch here, just talk about, everybody wants a balance, but yes, if one side, if the pitching is, out of this world and the offense is struggling, then pitching is going to keep them in games. The offense now has to come through. So again, Bats woke up a little bit more. Brandon Compton, local kid, obviously Buckeye High School. He is offensively, he's been pinch hitting, played a little bit of left field, but he's been the designated pinch hitting. Pardon me. He's been pinch hitting, but no, he's been the designated hitter for the Devils. And Compy's been having, offensively, yes, he's had maybe 1 or 2 games where it's like, oh, but you say, oh, because it's a shock. He has been a pillar of consistency, hitting home runs, but hitting the ball out of the park, but also, again, just constantly hitting the ball and driving in runs. So it's no matter where he's been in the lineup, up, down, whatever, but it's just, you're at a point like he batted second against UNLV, and I found that interesting. That's why I asked Coach Bloomquist last week. A lot of you saw the post-game presser about, he has moved people around. He goes, but at some point, you guys, you got to step up. You got to deliver. And because of the positions that the coaches are putting him in, again, you can go back and watch. Don't need to rehash the whole thing there. But that being said, Brandon Compton, batting second, maybe getting him a few more at bats. Obviously, you'd love to have a runner or 2 on base for him. So, that 8-9 spot, 8-9-1, kind of turning over the lineup, from 8 to 9 back to the leadoff, get a base runner or 2 on for him, because, there's a good percentage chance that he's going to drive in runs, but he can drive the ball out of the park and drive in multiple runs. So he was up in the 2 spot. I found that very interesting. So they got Cal coming up tonight. We'll talk a little bit more about that as the show goes on today. By the way, I'm coming to you here from on campus at ASU today, but spring ball, second day of spring practice getting done, a little bit later. So not going to drive home and start way later, although I started a few minutes late today. Apologies, but hey, we're here. So let everybody know, jump on in. You have any thoughts, comments, again, you can hit me up at Diablo00 on X, or, leave comments as you're watching, and they should come into me here. But nonetheless, so baseball, again, big conference, weekend conference series against the Golden Bears here at Phoenix Muni. Again, tonight at 6:30. I'll remind you before we get off the air. Tonight at 6:30. Tomorrow at, I want to say 6:30. And then Saturday at 1 o'clock for the series finale. So a little matinee baseball with the Diamondbacks having, their opening night, their opening day game tonight, this evening. I always thought opening day, all major league games should be played during the day. You start, obviously daytime on the East Coast will be earlier here, but 1 o'clock tip-offs or first pitches everywhere, to me, would be a great idea. But what do I know? That's just me. But nonetheless, that is with that going on. So people have a lot to do, a lot of choices, but go out, come on, check out some ASU baseball. Do not be bashful. You do not want to be bashful when it comes to ASU baseball, right? Right. None of us do. So that is that. But that is, again, 6:30 tonight. So that is where we're at. But hey, I'm going to take a quick break. When we get back, I'm going to talk a little spring ball. We'll hear from Coach Dillingham on day 2, and also definitely Clayton Smith, possibly Coach Ward as well. But yeah, I'll jump into it. We'll take a quick break here on Pitchfork Lunch, but we will have more coming up as yeah, we'll have more coming up here on Pitchfork Lunch. And we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Michael Carrottenuto at Diablo00 on X, but you Pitchfork Lunchers that join me every day know that. Hit me up again on X at Diablo00. Questions, thoughts, anything you want to see, anything I may have missed. I try not to. I don't think I do. But hey, if I do, again, a lot going on, feel free. Hit me up. Let's have a fun conversation about it. And then you can see the show live here on X, my IG, michael.carrottenuto.5, and YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005. And you subscribe away. If you miss this live, again, bummer, you're going to miss a lot of great sound from Spring Ball today. That is a bummer. But yeah, you miss sound from Spring Ball. And then also, again, coaches interviews, player interviews, everything that is, going on in Sun Devil country. Again, golf, like I said, the 51st ASU Ping Classic on the women's side started today, 8 a.m. Teed off. So the Devils are probably finished from today. But I'll have an update on the first round tomorrow, let you know where the women are at, who have just been absolutely crushing it. Yeah, they've been Missy Farke, again, doing a phenomenal job, and I can't wait to, have Coach on. That is in the works. So, again, golf fans, golfers, no, it's not going to be how she can make your shot better, but I might ask her one or two questions just to give everybody a quick what's made her so successful, because she's had a phenomenal coaching, phenomenal program, developed a phenomenal program in women's golf. But that being said, so I will give you an update on golf tomorrow. But if they're not done, they're probably close to done with their first round. But yeah, spring ball today, and man, the energy, again, it's day 2, and people say, well, I would hope there's energy, but just as an overall team, right? And Coach Dillingham talked about this yesterday. As an overall team, right, you want and need that energy. They can't manufacture it, it can't be fake. And it's like, oh, okay, but just, going from drills when they're doing individuals, going from drill to drill, but then even in 7-on-7s and the main event, the challenges. And I got a little bit of film on that. I'll put that up in a little bit, video film. What are we doing, a movie? We could do a movie because anything about ASU would be phenomenal. And you all know that, but I digress. But yeah, in the main events, the battles today, there's some good footage. I will have a spoiler right now. Clayton Smith had an insane catch, and of course, for some reason, I don't know why, because he was actually playing offense. So yeah, the insane catch. Obviously, a rush end, a guy that's gotten a little bit bigger too. He had an insane catch. I did not get it on film, but I didn't record it, but nonetheless, I'm sure you will see it. And if I find it, of course, I will retweet it out to you guys because it was an insane catch in the battles for Clayton Smith. But yeah, we'll hear from him. But just the energy again. I mean, defense again. These guys that they brought in on defense transfers. You heard Coach Ward, and we're gonna hear Coach Ward again today when he was on the show on Monday, just talking about the secondary and what it could be. I mean, we talked about Cole Martin. He mentioned other guys before I had specifically asked about Cole Martin. Again, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe. You can see that interview. But in his second year now, and guys that are experienced in the second year, Shamari Simmons, a Xavier Alford, and Ed Woods, and Mason Williams, a Montana Warren, even though Montana Warren's banged up, but still a Montana Warren back, and it goes Keith Abney. And it just goes on, so in the secondary alone. But, yeah, just the energy going back and forth with the offense, getting looks and all that good stuff. Whew, like the depth on the D-line you're seeing it. And I look forward to them developing that and being challenged by this depth that they have on the offensive line. Hear Coach Dillingham talk a little bit about that today as well. But yeah, I mean, look, energy for day 2, good. And yes, I will get back to you when it's practice, 18, 19, and we'll talk. We'll see where they're at. Energy. Next thing, practice on Saturday, and Coach Dillingham has a cool announcement. You'll see it in his sound from today. So I'm going to get to that right now because you need to hear from Coach Dillingham. So yeah, but he's got a cool announcement about Saturday's practice. And if for some reason I didn't get it because I may have started recording, but yeah, so here's Coach Dillingham from today after practice and about Saturday morning's practice coming up, and obviously all that's going on with the team. But yes, without further ado, here is Coach Dillingham.
So come out, friends, family, whoever you want out here, rock and roll.
Is it going to be here?
It's going to be here.
Okay.
It's going to be here.
Yeah, you tweeted out this morning the practice schedule and all that kind of stuff to encourage ASU alums to come out. Is that something that you're trying to necessarily push, especially this spring?
100%. I mean, I want that. I wanted that last year, and I didn't do a good enough job getting the word out. I got to, no excuses. I got to do a better job of getting the word out to the alumni that we want them back involved. So, my best avenue to do that in today's day and age is to tweet it. So, that was the thing I thought could, maybe get some guys out here, and we had some guys out here today.
What stood out from today's practice?
The energy and the effort. I don't even think it was comparable to day one. You watch the D-line and the O-line finish, and we got a chance when you watch those guys finish. Appreciate y'all coming out.
Hey, appreciate you having us.
Thank you. Don't film them. Just so you guys know.
Did you emphasize that between the two practices?
100%. What you do in the dark, what you do in that nobody really cares about or watches. We talked about the key to the game is the ball. It's very that simple. So if we attack the ball better than anybody in the country, right, we have a chance to win football games. And then in practice 1, we kind of played brother ball, where you just kind of, tag off on one another. The ball's near you. Hey, great job, buddy. High five. Right? You got to practice. Even though we're in helmets, you got to attack the football. And the only way you can attack the football is if you chase the football. So I think that showed up.
With the offensive line, I mean, I know it's been 2 practices, but just what are your thoughts? What have you seen from the depth of this guys getting out there?
Yeah, we're definitely way deeper and way bigger. And when you have pure size, even when you get beat slower because people have to go around somebody bigger, right? So even on the bad reps, they're not as bad as they were. So I think, we're in wearing pajamas. So until real pads get on Saturday, this is all, smoke and mirrors up front. Pads get on Saturday, real football begins.
How much will you ramp it up Saturday?
Very significantly. Why do you think I want the fans on here? You think these kids want to get beat in front of fans? No, there's a science behind it. It's not just me wanting the fans to come out and show support. No, I'm using our fans to motivate our players. So come out.
Talk about the D-line and necessarily what you're expecting of them out of the spring. Obviously, this is a very large position group. It's more than 20 guys. What are you expecting of them, considering you have a few returners, but you also have a lot of new guys in that group as well?
Yeah, I'm expecting one. We need more depth than last year. Fourth quarter's a game, third quarter's a game, second half of the season we'd fall off. So we need more depth. And then two, we need to work together as a team. Last year I thought we played D-line individually, right? Some guys made great plays, but they weren't working within a system. One of our 4 pillars of football is the team. The team, and that's the trust. The person next to you is going to do their job. I expect them to do that and then play with an elite effort. Play part of the team. Do your 111th, as Coach Ward says. At the same time, give elite effort. And if you do that up front, we're going to be pretty good.
I know you said you're in pajamas, but what do you think of Clayton Smith's catch in the main event there?
Yeah, I thought it was average. Average. Clayton's a solid athlete, so it was a nice play. We'll see if we can do it another day.
What have you seen from Cole Martin through the first 2 practices?
Yeah, you see intelligence. You see him be so patient sometimes on routes because he can see the release path, he sees what's coming, then he goes and plays it. Sometimes to a fault, but you can't hurt a guy for being smart and recognizing route combinations, but you can't guess at the same time. There's that fine line between being so smart you end up guessing and so smart that you're right. Because if you guess and you guess wrong, it's a bad play. But he's super twitched up, super athletic, moves extremely well, and he's really smart. I'm glad we have him, and he has some dog in him.
Coach, how does Coach Reynolds' experience add to the defensive line?
Yeah, I just think the respect that the guys have for him when you run a pass rush clinic for NFL guys in the offseason, and then you're working with collegiate players, those guys have that level of respect that if he says something, I should probably do it. I probably shouldn't ask why. And in today's day and age, kids have more knowledge. So the first question a kid's going to ask now, as opposed to 20 years ago, is why? Because they can go Google why. If you don't give them the answer, right, they can find it out. They want to know why. And I think they trust his why. When he gives the reason, they trust that reason is a good reason. And I think, people can say that's challenging coaches. No, that's just the way the world is. Everybody's more curious now. Everybody asks questions. And you got to be able to explain yourself and back up and explain the why. And I think he's earned the level of respect that people listen to his why instantly.
Is it too early to compare the transfer additions that you have now versus like a year ago?
Probably. I think we have added so much depth compared to last year. But until the pads get on, everybody can look like Tarzan. Right? Everybody knows the back end of that. And so we got to see who actually plays football well. Like who loses a one-on-one rep and then finishes the rep. Right? Who does that? Like you have to build those. You have to change those habits.
Cool.
And you heard him right there. Sun Devil head coach Kenny Dillingham. Again, but that just goes to the minimum standard being raised. Like I'm talking about the habits, everything he talked about there. And you saw him, obviously, Clayton Smith. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's a great athlete. He's an average catch. See if he can do it again another day. And Clayton has a response for that. Don't worry. But yeah, no, Saturday, that's a huge news. So fans will be able to come out to the Kajikawa practice fields and watch practice and coach again. There were some alumni out there. Terry Battle, blast from the past. Didn't get to talk to him. Saw Jordan Simone today. Got to talk to him real quick, but Terry Battle was out there, and Sun Devil fans, a lot of Sun Devil Nation. You know this from the Rose Bowl teams, the Rose Bowl team '96, but even the year before that and the year after that, man. Terry Battle, Michael Martin in the backfield, but it was good seeing Terry Battle out there. But I will share a funny Terry Battle story before fall camp, or at some point. But funny story, Terry Battle, when he was here, obviously I was in school here at ASU, but that being said, but yeah, you hear Coach Dillingham right there. I mean, just the defense, and with getting a new D-line coach, having even though Coach Amy's around in a I don't want to say supporting role, in an advisor role, more so as an advisor, like Marvin Lewis, who's still around. Saw Coach Lewis at practice yesterday. Yeah, I could sit and enjoyably talk to Coach Lewis for hours, man. It's just always great to even get a few minutes to talk to Coach. But Vince Amy, but yeah, it's that trust building with coaches, and what he's talking about, but the depth and both sides, offensive lines. So I asked him, I said, again, understanding it's only 2 practices, and like he said, they're in pajamas, but just how the lines meshing together, and they're mixing and matching. I mean, they're playing together, but they're mixing and matching guys, playing at different positions. So going, yeah, so I'm pretty sure pads will be on Saturday. So yeah, that's going to be fun. A little popping and staying up. But yeah, I mean, it's but you're coach right there too. That's the thing. Like for the offensive line, it's just when you get beat, you're going around somebody a lot bigger, so you're getting beat even slower. And the quarterbacks, the first few days, again, Jaden Rashad, as we know from Coach Dillingham, announced before spring ball started that hopefully, he'll be able to, and not team stuff, but do some one-on-one, individual throwing, one-on-ones, individual throwing, by the end of, the latter part of spring ball. So that'll be very, very awesome. But yeah, I mean, you bring in that kind of experience, for a defensive line coach. Obviously, Coach Cooper coming back, Coach Ward, Coach Carrington, back. Obviously, Coach Regal, assistant head coach, special teams, is working with the D line as well. So, I mean, that part is, again, you look at the camaraderie and what's going on. So that's exciting. That's when Coach Dillingham's talking about, especially defensively. Like you said, Coach Ward, you heard it a lot last year. Do your 111th. Do your 111th. And again, it's a perfectly choreographed. To me, it's like a dance that's perfectly choreographed. Because if everybody does their 111th and they're doing their job in unison, guess what? The defense looks a lot better. So, and like Coach Ward and I were saying on Monday on the show, I said I'm down with a 17-10 game. He said I'm down. He goes, yeah, I want us to score a lot more. But he goes, yes, absolutely. So, but no, this offense again, and we talked offense the other day. Look at some weapons, a little speed. Troy O'Meary early on, the 6'4" wide receiver is looking good. So it's nice to see him back out there. But yeah, Coach Dillingham, talking, like you said, about that, the offense, but just with the defense and what, they want to be able to do. But do your 111th. And that, to me, is that's the biggest part. And when they're able to do that, that's the part that when you look at it, again, it's we saw what this defense could be. And, even Coach Dare saying that, sometimes last year guys defensively worked, it was during the game that it was like an individual performance but, this year he goes, the pillar is the team, like, do it within the team scheme. So in doing your 111. So, and again, not that anybody was crazy getting out of lanes and giving up big plays that way. He's just saying like it was more so individual. Now stack, do your job, but do it to that level. And then the team does it to that level. And it's, again, can be obviously very beneficial for a defense that, again, is just looking to grow from last year, but capitalize on, again, times where they did. And again, they did look dominant, but 3-9, people are going to say, well, how can you say that? Oh, again, there were, go back and watch games. They, again, kept the offense in the game as long as they could. And just, again, towards the end of the season, banged up or not, fatigued. Like I said, nobody's going to feel sorry for you. They understand it's a bummer, but they got to roll the ball out and play. They got their own problems. So, but that being said, I told you to hear from Clayton Smith. So we're talking D-line. So, yes, without further ado, here is Sun Devil defensive end Clayton Smith after practice today.
A little bit thinner at the defensive line, but now you have 21 guys. How is it working with a big room?
It's great. It's great. Everybody getting reps. Everybody's winded. Nobody's too tired. You know what I'm saying? We got fresh legs rolling every 3-4 plays. So it's just great to be a part of.
And talking about that fatigue last year, how was your experience dealing with that, having to play a lot of reps, and now with a lot more depth, how that will kind of change?
You know, it had its moments. You know what I'm saying? Everybody get a little fatigued in the game, but now it's relieving knowing you can go out there and give y'all all for 3-4 plays, and you got somebody coming in matching the talent, and the team's not dropping off anywhere. So you know that's really relieving to have the defensive line having that depth.
Are you going to be lobbying Coach Dillingham to play? Catch your breath to play some receiver, because he said it was a pretty average. He said it was an average catch.
Every day. He said it was average. Okay. Well, tell him to line it up tomorrow. We can do it again. Get somebody different. Every day, I'm on it.
So what are, I guess, some positives you took away from your performance last year, and then some things you can improve?
Some positives. I think I finished with 5.5 sacks. That was a pretty solid for my first full season, you know, playing. It was a good year. We played some good teams. I got some good experiences. Some negatives, some things I can work on getting throughout. I got through out of 2 games, so I got to obviously, you know what I'm saying, be smarter, you know what I'm saying, with my hitting. But I say this is my consistency in my pass rush, you know what I'm saying, and consistency with my hitting. You know, I get better at those 2 things. I feel like we can just do what I did last year to maximize it.
How do you need to step up a little bit with losing guys like Deshaun and Deacon?
Yes. It's hard to replace guys like those, but I got to step up. I got to be a leader, a vocal leader as well as a physical leader, you know what I'm saying, and get the guys that we have up to that caliber, you know, so they can go ahead and perform and do the same thing they was doing.
And how are you and Prince kind of, you know, chemistrizing with each other? Obviously, you guys have been together this past season, but kind of each of you stepping up into those big spots as veterans.
Yeah, it's just something we got to do. You know, the chemistry's there. It's more fun now. You know what I'm saying? We got a year under our belt, but it's been fun. You know, we was here last year, so me, him, Coop, CJ fight some more guys. You know, we got to step up and lead the D line. So I look forward to it.
What did you enjoy about that in Reynolds?
Everything. He's an amazing coach. He's taught me so much in this. We've been out here a week, and he's showing us so many drills, some drills I've never done before. So it's wonderful working with him. You know what I'm saying? Somebody with that type of experience that can pour that kind of knowledge into you. It's great.
So if you were asked this, but you look noticeably bigger. Was that like an emphasis?
For sure.
In the program, and how do you think you accomplish your goals there?
I'm not there yet, but we almost there. You know, that was a big emphasis on my offseason. I wanted to add muscle mass. I wanted to change my body, transform my body. You know, get as much lean muscle as possible, still keep my speed. But no, you see we about 80%, 70%, 80% there. You know what I'm saying? I still got some work to do. But
you gained like 15 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to go 5 more or something?
I'm trying to go 10 more.
10 more,
yeah,
by the season. Mm-hmm. Wow. What will that enable you?
I feel like it was a lot of times I just got moved. You know what I'm saying? Not because I was weak, but just because I was light. Yeah. And I feel like the weight is gonna move. I'm gonna be in the positions I need to be in. I'm gonna be able to set sturdy edges and not just set blocks, but destroy blocks. You know, it's gonna take my game to that level.
And
Exactly.
In the second year, obviously, Coach Ward's system, he talked about you and the other teammates you mentioned, you know, as leaders, showing guys how to do it. How big is the comfort zone for you now in Coach Ward's system, even in teaching it to the newer guys, making sure they're doing it right?
It's comfortable, but I don't want to say it's just comfortable because we're changing things every day. But I do have a good understanding for what he's going to do or what he's going to call anyway, because I've been in it for a year. And it's easy to break down to people that's just not getting in here because we've been here for a year. But I'm pretty relaxed. I'm pretty comfortable with his system.
Does it feel like the get off and the twitch is the same even with the higher weight?
Yeah. It was a little off balance, you know what I'm saying, my first couple of days coming out here getting work, but it's fine now.
Body's a little different, so you're learning.
Yeah. You just gotta learn to move with the weight for real, but I feel good.
Go ahead. The versatility and the added sort of size and depth that you guys have as a group across the D-line, what does that enable for you guys defensively?
I just feel like it enables us to go harder. You know, to play harder, to do more, to move around more. We got a lot of guys that can play. So that gives us a lot of depth, a lot of things we can do, you know, a lot of space to try things, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of we got a good leash. with the coaches. So.
Kenny talked about just now about how last year the D-line very much was focused individually. You know, some guys would have good days, some guys would have bad days, but it was never like a collective, like great day for you guys. Do you feel like that's now becoming like a more proven focus in spring, that everyone it's not about one or two guys succeeding, it's about everyone succeeding?
Most definitely, because last year it was new. You know, everybody was kind of playing individual ball. We was feeling each other out. It was the first year in the new system, but this year we got new guys in, and the ones that were here last year, it's not about us anymore. You know, it's about getting everybody else to that level. That way they can run the plays and they can execute at the same speed and level we can.
Yeah, do you feel like there's a responsibility for people like yourself, Prince, Sam,
sure.
people who've
Most
been in
definitely.
that room to be like the leaders really of that
Most
room?
definitely, most definitely. If you know it and you see somebody struggling with it, the expectation is for you to help them out with it. That's a standard. Just because we're only good as our weakest link. So.
And then getting guys back, I mean, obviously, up front's important. The whole defense does their job, but having that experience and the depth in the secondary, what does that mean and do for you guys up front?
It's a lot. It makes us happy. You know, that we can trust the guys behind us, you know what I'm saying? We got even more guys piled on, you know what I'm saying? So you got a good secondary. It really enables the front to really go get after the quarterback.
What is some of those unique and professional aspects that Reynolds has brought to the defensive line that you've noticed initially?
Honestly, being a week into it, I say it's more mental than physical at this point. We've done a couple drills that I haven't done before. It's really training some good skills, but it's mental. What he has you thinking about going through the play. You know, the progression. My progressions has changed, and what I see before the ball, my pre-snaps read, all that is like he gives you the perspective he gives you. It just makes you play a lot faster. You know, because you're not thinking about those type of things because you already know it because you can remember him saying it in a meeting or you can remember him saying it over and over and over. So it's just drilled into your head.
Have you added any snakes to your collection and scared any new teammates yet?
No, but I did add a couple tortoises. Yeah, I'm getting another snake, but I'm gonna wait a little bit. I gotta get something good.
Do you think of yourself in the locker room as someone who kind of can let everyone rest easy, someone who can like necessarily be played back, not necessarily try not to use the word maybe like a class clown or something like that, but try to like let everyone like be rest easy, not necessarily like take every single rep or everything super seriously, because it seems like you're having a lot of fun out there.
Yeah. I feel like everybody has those moments, but I definitely feel like I'm the kind of guy, you know what I'm saying. When it's time to relax, let our hair down, that's what we do. You know what I'm saying. But for sure.
Thank you, Clayton.
And you heard it right there, Clayton Smith. He said we could do it again tomorrow. So, but look, the leadership that he brings, and I mean, the size, if that hadn't been asked to him by a friend of the program, Chris Cartman, I would have asked that question, because you look at Clayton Smith, and I mean, he wasn't small last year, but like you said, he wants to, he's about 70 to 80% there. And, man, like I said, and it said not because he was weak, but he was just light. And you're going against those big boy offensive linemen, and we all know with the obviously with COVID, there's some guys that have been in college for quite a while, and you're getting moved by a man, and that's he wanted to work on that, and yes, he does. There are guys and we talked about it yesterday. I mean, offense, we saw, like I said, saw Cam Scattaboo, but just some guys on the offensive line that I've seen too. And I was like, wow, I'm like, all right. But Clayton Smith looking bigger. CJ Fight, we'll hear from him tomorrow. I'll play caught up with him after practice today. He had a big cheering section going. But Clayton Smith, that size, guys, is just, it'd be nice. And CJ Fight in the middle too. I mean, how that young man grew last year, and he talks about, like, so we'll hear from him. But I mean, just his obviously growth and his expectations last year, and then obviously this year. But for Clayton Smith, like he said, I mean, Prince Dorba looking good, is coming back too. And I mean, he mentioned Anthony Cooper, who's just, I mean, each year just growing a beast. But there's depth in the developing, and Coach Ward talks about that. So we'll get to Coach Ward here. But yeah, I'm very excited for Clayton Smith. And yes, he is the snake collector of the team. We learned that last year. Thanks. Shout out to friend of the program, Brad Denny, who led me to that one. But yes, he does collect snakes. He has scared a few teammates with him. And but he added a tortoise. So, he said he's going to get another snake, but it's got to be good. You heard him right there. So I will keep you up to date on that fun Clayton Smith front. But yeah, what he does at the defensive line too, up front, it's like I said, hope springs eternal. I said it to Coach Ward. But when you look at this and you get deeper into spring, now like when we put pads on and see how that starts going, I know Coach, you can hear the excitement obviously in Coach Dillingham's voice to get the pads on. But yeah, it's going to be very exciting what this defense can do. And I mean, some of the stuff that Coach Ward says, he said on Monday, because I asked him first, see. Good questions. I have good questions every now and then, right? But no. But yeah, so let's hear from Sun Devil second-year defensive coordinator, former Phoenix College Bear, Brian Ward.
Really a progression and a process for us, and being in year 2, we're able to work on a few more things, but also minimizing the fundamentals that we're trying to clean up and perfect.
What's your sense about the added depth and size that you have?
Man, it's great. It's great. When you got bigger bodies, it just makes practice go a lot smoother, and you're able to practice a lot harder, a lot more physical. And having this depth right now, where we have a true 3 deep, and we're 4 in some other spots, it's not going to take the steam off of practice and the physicality off of spring ball.
How will that help you during a season?
It's everything. I mean, it really is. I mean, when you don't have an O-line or D-line depth, and you're a 4-down front team defensively, you really want to develop the guys, the 2s, 3s, and the 4s, the depth. You want to keep your 1s and your 2s sharp, and when you don't have, the depth at the O-line, then we can't line up our defense out there. When we don't have the depth on the D-line, we can't line up our offensive line out there. And when you can't run the football, you really get a skewed sense of where you're at in terms of being able to stop the run and be able to play situational defense. So it's great to see all the big bodies out there. It's good to see the development of our younger guys, and just the second year. I mean, there's a lot of things. It's not brand new anymore. It's guys are kind of hitting the ground running. We're playing a lot faster. We got that half a step to a step faster in most positions, and being more physical. It's starting up front is really going to help us.
And then I know obviously 2 practices, but the communication, talk about depth in the secondary, but in 7-on-7s and team, how do you feel the communication with the secondary has been?
It's been good. It needs to get better. It's still early on. I mean, day 2 install. We got a pretty heavy install going in day 3, so it's really going to challenge us from a communication standpoint. And our offense is giving us all the looks that we need. I mean, right now, and so we're they're putting pressure on us in terms of how fast they get aligned and some of the different things that they're showing, and we're really getting a high volume of different things that are challenging our rules on defense. So it's challenging our communication, and I think our 1s are doing a solid job. Our 2s need to be a little better. Our 3s, have a ways to go, but we're getting there. We're way ahead of where we were last year at this time.
So you think you'll have a wider range of calls available to you situationally?
I don't know if there's going to be a wider range of calls, but we'll be able to get into, basically be able to put ourselves in better position just because of our guys' knowledge and being in our second year. I keep talking about that foundation, that group that knows what we installed, day 1 of spring ball last year, and we just built upon throughout the season. And, having those guys, showing the new guys, the guys that are adding depth and talent at certain positions, it's just, they got a good example right now. I just always say, more is caught than what is taught. And those guys are catching what those guys they're trying to beat out are doing. So really have good leadership right now in our locker room from a defensive standpoint. And we're just really, it's showing up on the field right now.
It should give you more confidence in the call that you want to make against a certain opponent, because the guys will be able to execute it. Is that fair?
Well, not only that, but I think just even more importantly, I mean, some of the looks that we're getting, from our offense and some of the things that they're doing, it's going to challenge us, rather than trying to see those looks, the 3rd week of the season, and we've never seen it in spring ball or fall camp. We're actually seeing those looks right now, and it's been really, really good in terms of that working relationship. I mean, I think we're giving each other what we want to see and what we need to see in order to be successful this fall.
Coach, any concern that Clayton Smith might want to start playing wide receiver?
I'll just say no comment. I mean, whatever the boss man wants to do with that, that's what he's going to do.
You had some really great leaders that departed, Mallory, Trey Brown. Who do you think are guys that can rise up and fill that void?
There's some guys they lead by example, and there's some guys they lead by their vocal leaders. There's guys that are a combination of both. There's some guys really don't say a whole lot. They lead because they're showing what they need to do. And I keep bringing up those same guys. Guys like Shamari Simmons, Ed Woods, Xavier Alford, Mason Williams, Keith Abney, Ed Woods. You got those guys just showing in the back seven just what it's supposed to look like on a daily basis when we install a defense. That familiarity shows guys like Miles Rouser and Kamari Wilson and those guys. They show those other guys, Cole Martin, how to do it. Like, this is what this is how we're playing it. This is how we're how the teaching progression, how it's being coached, and so they're leading from that standpoint. Then we got guys up front, like Prince Dorba and Clayton Smith and CJ Fight and Anthony Cooper, and those guys. They're showing guys like how it's supposed to be done up front, and then guys like Caleb McCullough and Tate Romney and those guys again at linebacker. Hey, here's what we do, and this is how we do it. This is how we communicate it. And I think all those guys. You're talking about a group of really unselfish guys. You know what I'm saying? That's the I think the key character quality of those guys. They're unselfish and they just want to be good, and they're intrinsically motivated, and they can feel, hey, there's competition too. So I need to up my game. I need to play like a second year player in the system. Like, this stuff is familiar. So that leadership is just invaluable right now, and it's unselfish leadership too. So it's exciting to watch those guys.
And you mentioned Cole, but I mean, how do you feel that he's mixed in with the guys now that he's on the field?
Oh, he's great. Yeah, he's a lot of fun to coach. He really wants to be good, and you can tell he has a high football IQ, and obviously he's been blessed with a lot of ability. So it's going to be on me, to make sure that I can clean up all the little details. We talked about it today. Like, it's about play recognition for him, because I'm not going to change how I coach. I'm not a guy that goes, hey, if this, that, and this. It's literally, it's this or that. And here's how you play this. If it's not this, then it's that. And I try to just make it black and white, try to eliminate any gray. And, again, we're still working together for the first time. He doesn't trust me yet, because we're just getting a chance to work together like a Shamari Simmons trusts me. I tell it to Shamari one time, he does it verbatim exactly how I ask him to do it. Xavier Alford, same way. Mason Williams, same way. Cole's still learning the system. It's still day 1, day 2, day 3 for him, and I'm just excited to see what he's going to look like come practice, 9 and 10 and 11.
Well, you heard it right there. And yeah, I mean, I was watching Cole Martin today, and even, Coach Dillingham said, just a smart player and obviously athletically gifted, but, so smart to where you guess and you're wrong, or, you're, you play it right. But like Coach Ward saying, trusting and understanding. And now that he's working, Cole Martin's in the secondary with, Shamari, Xavier, Ed, Keith Abney, even like a Montana Warren, again, who, but yeah, it's the Cole Martin thing is very exciting, like you said, and the defensive line, like just communication, what they can do. And I mean, Latterance Welch, this young man who transferred in as well, like, he looks good. And again, I know Coach Dillingham, everybody excited, but in your pajamas, let's see when you get the pads on. But I'm going to guess him and his staff recruit guys, because we saw last year ones that were healthy. It was, in pads, it wasn't a problem doing, whatever they were able to do. So that being said, it is one of those things. But hey, I'm going to take a quick break, let you guys kind of digest all that. Any questions, comment, hit me up in the comments. I'm going to take a quick break, and then when I get back, and wrap up some news and notes, wrap up softball from yesterday, and remind you, obviously, about baseball tonight at Phoenix Muni as the Devils take on the Golden Bears. But more coming up here on Pitchfork Lunch. And we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Carasino at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as Twitter. Check the show out on my IG, michael.carasino.5, and on the YouTube. Check it out live on YouTube. But if you miss any of it, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, kids. And guess what? You can watch all the interviews, all the sound you miss from practice. But like I said, one-on-one interviews, all that good stuff. Yeah, so again, you're missing out. But that being said, there's a remedy for that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, and you can go to M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube and subscribe. But yeah, so we just wrapped up talking day 2 of spring ball. What's going on? Softball again. They split the doubleheader yesterday with USD, the Toreros. The first game, San Diego won 7-4. ASU went up 2-0 in the top of the first. San Diego got one back. It's 2-1 after one. Neither team scored in the second. USD put up 2 in the third to make it 3-2. In the top of the fifth, ASU put up 2 to make it 4-3. But then the bottom of the fifth was a demise. Too many hits, too many runs. One of those things, kind of frustrating. But nonetheless, the Devils were gave up 3 in the bottom of the fifth to make it 7-4 or 6-4. And then USD got one in the bottom of the sixth to put enough space and make it 7-4 overall. In that first game. But Deb Jones started the game, and then Mac Osborne came in, and then Mika Lape came in to finish it out. But yeah, 7-4. And you know, I was doing the show, but kind of going back and forth watching the first game, and it was look, the offense. I mean, they had opportunities. They left quite a few runners on base. Let's see, they left 6 on base altogether, and I mean USD left 7. So pitching did a good job at time. Unfortunately, giving up some hits, but the stranding runners, and you know, in the second and fourth, not giving up any runs, but they scored in the first, third, fifth, and sixth. So, and obviously didn't have to bat in the seventh. So 7-4 was the first one, but we went to the doubleheader, and the second one was 3-2 in favor of the Devils, who of course scored in the first inning again. They were up 1-0, right? Got the run in the first, and USD went 6 innings without scoring. So ASU puts up another in the sixth, or 2-0, going to the bottom of the seventh. And USD gets 2 runs to force extras. Nobody scores in the eighth. and then the 1 run in the 9th. Alicia Denby single to left center. And Audrey Leclerc scored. And that was the top of the 9th to get the 1 run. And then, boom, 3-2. Bottom of the 9th, nobody hits. Marissa Shaw ends up getting the win. But Marissa Schultz got she got the win. She pitched the whole game. 9 innings, gave up 10 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 3 Ks, 2 walks. She did hit 1 batter, but threw 130 pitches. And I mean, you think, I mean, she had a scoreless game going in, and USD had hits. I mean, they had 2 runs on 10 hits, but still, it's one of those things where I mean, she gave up 2 runs, unfortunately, in the bottom of the 7th. But yeah, 2 runs on 10 hits. Yeah, that's a hell of a game. So she goes to 4-5 overall, and that is, again, just absolutely huge. Again, would have loved the sweep against USD, but you split, and now they are 18-15 overall. And then, again, have a little time off. So kind of got like a mini bye, get recharged over Easter weekend, come back to practice next week, and then head out to Stanford next Friday, 7 p.m. So that is where they were at. But, yeah, Marissa Shaw, again, if she can keep this groove going as we get deeper into Pac-12 play, Sun Devil Nation, it will be absolutely huge for ASU softball. So, but again, don't forget tonight, 6:30 at Phoenix Muni, the baseball team, men's baseball, they got an early weekend series against Cal Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. As they will play at, like I said, 6:30 tonight. So if you can get on out there, get on out to Muni. Hit me up on Twitter or on X. Let me know if you are going to be there. And, 6:30 tonight. So they have it. They have the Golden Bears, who real quick in the standings, in the Pac-12 standings, I can tell you, Cal is 5-4 in Pac-12 play. They're 15-7 overall. So they're 10-3 in non-conference play. Not bad. ASU 3-6. Again, if they could sweep Cal somehow and get to 6-6, and then 14. If they were to sweep Cal, and again, it's one game at a time. I know it, but since I'm not coaching or playing, I can go there. They win all 3 from Cal, which game 1 would start. It starts tonight. They would be 6-6 in conference play, 14-14 overall. So back to 500, which again wouldn't be, it's not ideal. Not even close to Willie's thoughts on what this team knowing what this team can be and expectations, as we know. But I'm just saying, you get a 3-game sweep, 6-6, 14-14. Cool, man. Now you're sitting there, and you're playing, a little more bounce to your step, because again, record not great, but where you've gotten back into. Because look, Oregon State's 5-1, Oregon 6-3, and Utah and Cal and Washington State are all 5-4. So again, you get a 3-game sweep, you're right back in the thick of it, and feeling better about yourself, and especially offensively, this team again. And they've been working hard, and you've heard Willie talk about it. I mean, look what they've done. I mean, it's a preparation thing. Do they have to be more fired up at times? Coach talked about that, possibly. But offensively, again, not to overthink. Feels like they're putting them in the right spots. Well, again, the bats started to wake up a little bit more. Homage to Pedro Serrano. The bats started to wake up a little bit more against Washington State, and then the UNLV. I mean, they had to come back. They give the 7 runs given up in the first inning, but they came back. They win that game 10-9. So that is just, again, it's you get the 3-game sweep. But guys, I know I'm overstating the obvious, but the part that's not overstating the obvious is the confidence more with the offense, the pitching, what it has done, the bullpen. I mean, how it's been nails. And yeah, I mean, you look at the record, say, how can you say it's been nails? Well, I mean, sometimes it's been the starting pitching. Yes, sometimes somebody in the bullpen they've gotten to somebody, but overall, what they've been able to do and control, big fan. So I will leave you on that positiveness. Again, I appreciate you so much for joining, and I will see you tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Again, hit me up on Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as Twitter. You can see the show live on my IG, michael.caratonudo.5. And guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can go to YouTube and search for my channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe. So I'm going to get out of here, but you have a great rest of your Thirsty Thursday. And I will see you tomorrow. We'll hear from CJ Fight and have updates on women's golf as they host the 51st Ping ASU Invitational. And again, the women have just been crushing it. So looking forward to that. And give you an update, and we'll see when they're teeing off tomorrow. But have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Thursday. I will see you tomorrow for Friday. And you know it, Pitchfork Lunchers. I didn't forget, as always. And yes, this is for that place down south too, because it is a Sun Devil state, and they should know it. But as always, forks up.
Cherry's three. Johnny Walker mashing up against control. His shot. Bruce score, they score. They tie the game up 2-2. Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls on. And Arizona State wins it. Edward.